Now look, my next guest is an Oregon-based singer-songwriter who speaks from his soul. In his career, he's been able to open for acts like Lenny Kravitz, oh my gosh, and Ben Harper. One of his singles was even released on New York-based indie label Greystone Music Group. And he's here to this morning to talk all about his upcoming performances, projects, and what's on the horizon. It's Redray Frazier. Redray, thank you so much for being here.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we're so excited to dive right into this. Tell me how long you've been doing music.
I've been doing music for most of my life, and it's so funny that you mentioned Kiss because the very first time I performed in Portland, it was at a place that's called Starry Night. It's now the Roseland, and I was on a pop music radio tour, and Kiss was on the bill. So that was my very first time performing in Portland.
Oh my gosh, so many connections. So when did you know that you wanted to be a full-time artist?
I didn't know it until kind of late. I've always grown up in music. I've been around it for all my life. My dad is a former pastor, and I grew up singing in his church. But I was an athlete, and it wasn't until I got injured that in searching for something that would fill the void of that passion, music was right there, staring me in the face the entire time, and it took that injury for me to actually see it. Oh my gosh! So.
I was an athlete in high school, and I can tell you from I'm relating to you. That injury will make you think about some things.
Yeah. It absolutely will.
I was saying in our opening that you've opened for Lenny Kravitz. What's been your biggest? I mean, is that your biggest achievement, or what's the highlight for you?
Well, there's a lot of shining moments, I must say. I mean, I've had some major label deals and been around a lot of great musicians, but. On that same tour where I performed with Kiss, I was also doing something in England, and I got to meet Dizzy Gillespie. And I was a kid. I was just a kid, and he was so kind to me, and he treated me like I was his son. And to be treated with that much respect from a music icon, that was probably the shining moment. But I've been on a lot of stages, and I've done a lot of things that, when I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, I did that. But that's probably, the most memorable
That's awesome.
moment.
It's always nice when the people that we look up to really turn out to be who we need them to be. That's what I always say.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, she was definitely who I needed her to be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, also, I was doing my homework, so I was cruising on your website.
Yes.
And you have an About Me section in German.
That's right.
And my next question was going to be like, do you go all over the place? What's been the farthest performance that you've had? I have to assume Germany.
Well, so I've been to Germany. And yes, I do have a German presence, and I'm very, very thankful for that. The farthest place I've ever been to was Australia, and I've kind of been all over the world, but I love that that there is a need for a German section on my website.
So big that they need their own section. I love that.
We're really cultivating that.
Yeah, so. and you have a performance coming up. You have one tomorrow, but you also want to talk about the one that's happening on Saturday.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about it.
Yes. So a quick touch on what's happening tomorrow. I do the first Tuesdays of every month with one of my business partners and bandmates at Alberta Street Pub, and we trade songs back and forth. We trade each other's songs, and it's always really fun. We sometimes have a special guest. But coming up on Saturday, a good friend of mine is playing in town, Chris Pierce. He's coming up from LA, and I'm joining him in the performance. I'll be doing a set, and we're playing at the Old Church. And I'm really excited about that. It's a beautiful venue, downtown Portland, and it really feels, it is an old church.
Yeah, so many acts go through there. It has to feel great. I can't even imagine. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate it.
Oh, thank you so
You got
much
to stop by again.
Absolutely.